Margaritis. Hi, how are you? Margaritis, it's not a drink because it ends in an IS, not an AS. So which means I'm Greek, like hepatitis, gingivitis, and bronchitis. And I paid attention earlier to the presentations, and I'm going to take Jeff McGee up on his ideas, and I'm going to do something different because I normally would stand up there. I listened to him and says, get outside the box. Do something different. So I'm going to do that. I'm a CPA, just like probably a majority of you in this room. But there's a problem with me. Many refer to me as an accidental accountant. And there are some of you in the crowd today, but you may not know it. The reason why people call me an accidental accountant, well, I didn't get into the accounting profession initially. I spent time, went to University of Kentucky, so I only have like 300 vocabulary words that I know. Got a degree in business administration. Left Kentucky, went to, became a restaurant manager in Griffin, Georgia. Now, if you don't know where Griffin, Georgia is, it's somewhere between Atlanta and the Civil War. After 2 years there, I spent 8 years in the banking industry, primarily as a commercial lender. And those 8 years were so important to me because they taught me a lot about customer service, business development, and networking. Well, I went to school and got my master's of accountancy at Case Western Reserve. My first job out of my master's program, I went to work for Price Waterhouse, which shows my age. I didn't say Cooper's. I worked 5 years as a tax accountant for Price Waterhouse. I left Price Waterhouse and then spent 4 years at Victoria's Secret Catalog. Not as a model. Get that out of your mind. You might get sick. Then in 2000, I started in higher education. I started teaching accounting at a university in Columbus, Ohio. I don't have my PhD, but that never stopped my students from calling me Dr. Margaritis. As one student said, anesthesiologists are doctors, and just like them, he puts me to sleep. So after about 2007, I started teaching CPE, both on the technical side and on the non-technical business skill sets that I learned from the banking. But what really makes me the accidental accountant is the way this thing up here works, my brain. I took the Herman HBDI test, similar to like Myers-Briggs, and what they found out, or I found out, is that I had a whole brain, which was a surprise to my parents, my friends, and my ex-wife. But what this means is the right side, the creative side, and the left side, the analytical side, they're both equally balanced. So I have to feed both sides of my brain, and this has come to be a really unique opportunity for myself. Because being a CPA, oh, that takes care of the analytical side. The creative side, nourishing that puppy, takes a lot of work. And I draw upon my past hobbies of stand-up and improvisational comedy to feed the creative side, and I take that skill set with my accounting, and I try to develop college curriculum, CPE curriculums around that thought process. Because we've all sat in continuing education. We've sat in the 8-hour session, and I'm a multitask, because accounting is dry. If it wasn't dry, everybody would be doing it. And my goal is to keep you awake, to motivate you, to make you laugh, and have you walk out going, man, I'm going to do something about that. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what kind of makes me the accidental accountant. Like a different kind of background. I've done stand-up comedy and improvisational comedy. I got a whole brain. But what does that have to do with this Innovation Summit? Well, this is my teaching philosophy. Edutainment. Education and entertainment. Because if we laugh, we entertain, you retain that information, and you can use it, because we have a retention problem of knowledge in our profession. So I want to educate. There was a professor at Ohio University. His name was Mel Hellitzer. He was a professor of journalism. And he said, it's not what's taught at the university, it's what's caught. And if I can get students' mouths to open with laughter, I can spoon in a little knowledge. That still to this day gives me chills. I heard that and went, love it. That's what I want to do. And I try to make you laugh periodically so you'll pay attention and I can spoon in. I teach the technical side, IFRS versus US GAAP. And in this discussion of IFRS versus US GAAP, I play a video, 5-minute video of Abbott and Costello. Remember those two guys? When have you seen an Abbott and Costello video in CPE? And in this video, Lou Costello proves that if you have 7 salesmen and they sell 13 vacuums apiece, the total vacuum sold is 28. Do the math. 7 into 13, 28. Proves it 3 times. And I use that to say principles-based accounting. That's IFRS. Very few rules. This is what happens. And if you ever watch that video, I wish I had time, just Google Abbott and Costello does math. And it's absolutely hysterical. But I use that as a point of, well, is this principles-based? And then I said, for those of you in BLI, when you're having that audit and you have that first-year staff come in, prove to them that 7 goes into 13 28 times and watch your head go poof. So that's what I try to do. So I've tied all that, and then we're talking about this innovation summit because we all believe in lifelong learning. But lifelong learning is not clicking a box on a webinar saying, I've attended. Lifelong learning is not sitting in a full-day seminar, conference, webcast. Lifelong learning is retention. Lifelong learning is not going just so I can comply with my State Board of Accountancy rules. I'm there just to click a box and say that I've earned my 8 hours of CPE or my 4 hours of CPE, and I'm going on. I've taught enough webinars to know that there's a lot of people out there are Has anybody multitasking on a webinar? Raise your hand. Be honest, everybody's hand should be up. I've taken them, and I've multitasked. It's tough to do. Oh my God, who put vodka in this? So we've got to do more. We've got to do more. We have a shortage. Boomers are retiring, young coming in, and if we're just clicking the box, but not retaining that information to do anything with, and complying with our State Boards of Accountancy, we're not bringing value to our clients. We're not bringing value to our organization. And in the Horizons 2025 report that came out, one of the pieces here talks about lifelong learning. It says lifelong learning as one of the 10 insights and directions of the accounting profession. The current educational framework must evolve at the same pace with the changing dynamics of business, government, and the profession. How many would agree that we are in a very rapidly changing environment, business environment, and it's hard to keep up? It's not like it was 10, 15 years ago. But in order to keep up, we must learn at a greater pace than change. And learning at a greater pace than change is going to become a challenge because I don't have the time to sit in an 8-hour session all day. Plus, my retention level when I walk out of the session drops. And Bob Dean's going to talk more about that. So what do we need to do? We need to be able to have smaller bites of this stuff, 2-hour increments. But it just can't be internally. The aggregate knowledge within the organization or within the firm is far less than the collective knowledge outside. Because a lot of people have left. And there's all this knowledge that sits out here that, God, if we could only collaborate, if we could only do something together, because I think CPE is dead. And I think the model needs to be changed. And there's in CPA Success, there was a blog back in April talking about this, talking about the Horizons report, talking about how do we need to change continuing education for our profession. That's the challenge. Where's the ideas? How are we going to change it? And the idea that I have in my head, based on a lot of research, is collaborative learning communities. A community of learners, that small increments of knowledge on demand in real time will make us better on our jobs. I got an example, futuristic example. There's a French company, Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew purchases Spacely Space Sprockets January 1, 2014. Spacely Space Sprocket is told by Pepe Le Pew that you must convert your accounting systems to IFRS by 12/31/14. IFRS is not mandated by the SEC. I don't have 5 or 6 years to do that. I've got to get up to speed in a year. And this is a real life example. How am I going to do that? How am I going to do it internally? Look at all my people. Who's taking an IFRS course? Nobody. Okay, we got to gain that knowledge. We got to gain the knowledge of the standards, of the implementation, and of the guidance. We have to also be able to understand implementation, what issues are we going to run in. If there was a collaborative group of IFRS learners, that there are U.S. subsidiaries that report to foreign parents that currently use IFRS in the United States. If we could get that group together, Spacely Space Sprockets would be able to implement at a more efficient and effective way through this transfer of knowledge within a community that exists outside. Plus, when we bring it outside, it comes back in, and our internal people become smarter, quicker, in real time. That is key. And that's how I think we need to change CPE. Live breathing is here. It shouldn't go away. We shouldn't go always to, we're going to quit doing live, we're just going to do online. The collaborative community can be a platform, it can be online, but it also must coexist together, not all in one bucket. Now, I'm no Jeff Foxworthy because I do comedy, but you might be a CPA if you spend more time with Excel than you do with your spouse. How many of you think Excel is a basis of accounting and should be changed to be the basis of accounting? So as you leave and as you attend sessions, think about how you think CPE should change so that the retention level, the knowledge level of the participant is a lot stronger than potentially it is today. And leave it in the idea store. Pull Pam aside. Pull me aside. Pull me aside if you think I'm crazy. But you know what? Sometimes the more you put out there, something's going to stick. And something's going to turn into a gem. So think about how can we change CPE. I've had a blast. I've gone so far off script and ad lib. This has been fun. So I thank you all so very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I know you're going to enjoy Bob Dean.